Yellow squares doesn't show support. It fuels racism. One who follows me and I follow her. She wrote this in her Twitter in response to someone supporting hashtag Stop Asian Hate with a yellow squirrel emoji. uh, Hello YouTube, this is Naman. Welcome to my channel, Make Me Think Harder. I'm gonna call this type of video that I am making right now my Twitter reaction series because I react to Twitter quotes. I'm gonna call this particular video Twitter reaction 001. Yeah. Because I'm thinking I'm gonna do about 999 of these. I think we American people, including myself of course, are very confused about race and racism. I think we all know red, black, white, yellow. These are not very good descriptions of our skin tones. We Asian Americans come in so many different shades, right? Some of us are very light complexion. Some of us are very dark. And a whole bunch in between. I have never seen anybody who is yellow. Then again, I never seen anybody who's white, black, red, and so on. This person who's joining hashtag Stop Asian Hate used yellow square emoji. Is it so bad? Why am I so offended by it? Maybe I'm the one who's being oversensitive, being overreactive. Just like our skin tones, I think racism comes in various shades of darkness. As an Asian American living in the United States, I feel like I have experienced at least two types of racism. One really blatant ones, someone driving by calling me yellow something. Another one, the subtle one. And this one is really hard for me to explain. I think it might feel like this. You are within a group of people and someone made fun of you. You can make a quick comeback. You feel embarrassed, you feel low. Inside, you are feeling all the bad things. But outside, you have to put up a front saying, you're not offended by it. You have to say, oh, I'm just thick skinned, I'm not thin skinned, I can handle this. Now, if you're thin skinned and you get a little upset, whoever made fun of you, say something like this. Oh, you're being oversensitive. It was just a joke. Come on, man. Get over it. And everybody, of course, agrees with this guy. And you feel even more frustrated, more, I mean, even smaller, right? And you're not the one who made the offense. You're a receiver of the offense. And yet, you're the one who has to get over it. And at times, yeah, at times you could handle it and say, oh, yeah, this was just all fun. They were laughing with me, not laughing at me, you know? Yeah, at times you could get over those things. It's no biggie, you know? But at times you go, that was really offensive. But I have to let this guy get away because I want to put up a front that says I'm thick-skinned person. I think that's what it feels like to face subtle racism. And it could be where I'm being oversensitive, or it could be where that person who's making the offense is being very offensive. And that person may even not know they're offending you. Like I say, racism comes in many different shades, and it's hard for us to understand it. To further confuse the issue, we all seems to have all shades of interpretation about racism. For instance, what happened in Georgia. 6 out of 8 of those victims were Asian women in Asian run business. To me, it feels like a blatant racism. This person with the gun, white kid, targeted Asian people and shot them dead. That seems pretty blatantly racist act. But they're saying, no, this is not a racist problem. It's just violence problem in the United States. So, and it's something that news is making up. And I agree, news media is not handling this very well. And I agree, there are a lot of people who are virtue signaling. But does that mean that that wasn't blatantly racist act? Well, some people are saying it's not blatantly racist act. We don't have a racist problem in America, or even if we do, it's not a big deal. Most of us are good people, and most of us are not racist. You know what racists would say? They say they're not racist. You know what thief would say? Thief would say they're not a thief. Con would say they're not a con. Simply saying you're not it is weak defense. I have to admit I might be wrong. I have to admit that I might be the tribalist racist. So I'm looking at this from a my own racist view, and that's why I see it as it is. I'm the one who's overreacting, and I'm the one who's being oversensitive to this issue. I have to admit that. That's a possibility. So here's what I'm proposing. I mentioned this before. To overcome a alcoholic problem, you have to first admit you're an alcoholic, right? If you don't admit you're an alcoholic, then you're saying you're not willing to make any changes. I think same thing as racism. If you're not willing to admit that you're racist, you're not willing to make any changes. I mean, these people who are even racist groups, they don't like to be called racist either. They say, oh, I'm not racist, I'm just fighting for my rights. And you're not willing to make changes. Another thing is that if you're saying, I know everything about racism, then you're saying you're not willing to learn about racism problem in the United States. If you're saying there's no racism problem in the United States, or it's no big deal, you're not willing to make any changes. That's all you're saying, basically. But to evolve as a human being, as a society, I think we all need to admit that every one of us are racist. We just don't know what shade of racism each one of us have. Until we admit that we are racist, until we admit that we are tribalist, each one of us have that, I think. I don't know if it's a gene. I don't know if it's some kind of defense mechanism, but I think we have it, in my opinion. And until we admit that we have it, we're basically saying we're not willing to make any changes. It's no big deal. It's not a big problem in the United States. That's what he's saying. And just because you're not willing to admit it, and just because you're not willing to make changes to it, doesn't mean there isn't the problem. Just because media is not handling this issue very well, just because they are being fake news, they're making it bigger than it is, making mountain out of molehill. Just because they are doing that doesn't mean problem doesn't exist. Just because you have consensus doesn't mean that consensus is truth. You have to first be able to admit that you could be wrong to learn something new. If you think you're right and just, all you're saying is, I'm not willing to make any changes. I admit to being a racist, tribalist, because I want to make changes within myself, within people around me, within my community. Till next time, I'm out.